At the very beginning of 373, and we are off. Quite a few tar snakes on this end of the road, and there's no shoulder. A little bit of a divot there in the side of the road. Pretty nice looking scenery, however. Curve, even though it was a minor one. A little bit of a rough patch. Bit of elevation here, up and down, but still straight. Oh, kind of a bump in the road right there. Loose gravel in the middle of the road. You're gonna see these in Texas in some places, but not all places. These giant windmills. They've got some farms out west, but right here close to Munster, which is in not the Panhandle, but North Texas, kind of north of Dallas. Oh, northwest of Dallas. That was a pretty horrendous little bump. Nice corner there. Again, we're on 373 North. Kind of a castle-esque there, entrance to a ranch on the side of the road. A lot of the houses out here, you're going to see that there are people that bought land and then built a house out here. It's not a subdivision out here. So the houses are probably on well water. I don't know that. They may be on the city of Munster. That's the closest city. The road has been patched quite a bit right in that spot. Loose gravel on the road again. Trucks coming in and off. It looks like where they've got some cows or horses out here, and they've loaded them up and they pulled them out. Maybe some of the roads that they're going on to or coming off of, like right there, are dirt, and it was. And of course the dirt clings to the tires and drags it out. So it leaves a lot of loose debris on the road. Coming up to a stop sign. So far the scenery's been pretty nice. You can smell a little bit of the livestock in the area. I definitely include it among the scenery. Out west it's pretty bad, the oil smell. We don't have the oil smell here, but we have a little bit of livestock smell there. And if you've got a sensitive nose, sensitive stomach, that might be a concern for you. Of course, just being outdoors, for some people that have allergies, you might want to bear that in mind. A lot of vegetation here on both sides of the road. As you saw in my initial video, a bunch of flowers and such. So there's going to be some pollen. This is vehicle number 3 and 4. So we've seen like 4 vehicles in 6 miles, and I consider that pretty light traffic. This is a nice portion of the road, a little elevation and the curve. It's coming up on a hill, so you're going to want to make sure that you absolutely stay in your own lane, because you can't see any oncoming traffic. So it is absolute 100%. You want to stay in your own side of the lane all the time anyway, but occasionally some people slip. I get that. Not everybody does, but this is actually very pretty right here. The elevation along with the curves right there. Very nice. You might want to watch for roadkill. I haven't seen any on this particular road, but that is going to be one of the things on road conditions, is roadkill. And if you see any buzzards circling up ahead, definitely going to want to reduce your speed a little bit so you get to that area, because there might be some dead fox, dead rabbit, dead armadillo. This is Texas. We got dead armadillos on the road. More livestock. They're just relaxing over there. Those cows will one day be your steak. Next time you go to the steakhouse, just think of, I saw Jimmy, the bearded biker, ride by that cow. This is the one I'm eating right now. Those aren't dairy cows. No, those are going to be sold and one day be dinner for somebody. Steaks and hamburgers and such. So we're coming into the south side of Munster on 373. There's a red light here because it crosses 82. I'll be doing a video on Munster shortly, going through some of the popular areas. This is where the whole Oktoberfest is on this year. It's October 1st, 2nd, 3rd. I think last year they canceled it due to COVID or severely restricted it. But this is where the Oktoberfest, German Fest is. German Fest is actually April 23rd, 4th, and 5th, while Oktoberfest is in October. some of the local bikers. Again, we're still on 373. It's a major thoroughfare going north-south through Munster. Fisher's is one of the popular grocery store chains. They've got a lot of meats made up in the German way, and people from surrounding little towns and cities come to visit there and or ship that meat back to there. They've got a place in Gainesville that comes and gets meats every day, and that's one of the popular. Looks like the Sunday crowd is already gone from church. As I pre-rode the route early this morning, those parking places over there were full as church was in session. Sometimes Jimmy, the bearded biker, is a heathen and did not attend church. So we were out on the motorcycle, always on the road. So now we're coming out of the north side. Munster's not that big of a little town. We're seeing one of the residential sections over here just south of me now on the left side of the camera. And as we go around this right, there's a large travel trailer in front of me. I'll be passing it as soon as I get a dotted line, but and then as we exit the town, this is the last residential area over here on the west side. They're swinging out so they can turn in. Won't need to pass them now. Yeah, this is the last portion right here of the last little subdivision in Munster, and then from here out it's just like on the south side, people who bought land and built a house out there because there's not a subdivision, and this is where the major portion of the wind farm is as well. Something else that's neat will be coming up that's right among the wind farm. That's not the prison. There is a wind farm prison here in Texas. I know, I spent 20 years there, but that's not a story for today. Stay tuned for that story in a later video. So here in the heart of the wind farm, as we move up a little bit, there's going to be along the side of the road, it almost looks like a golf course. It's not a golf course, but it's got little roads that go through it that look like a golf course, and it's got these small mini oil derricks all over the place. They're pumping oil out of the ground, so that's kind of neat. You don't get to see that every place, but it's up here a little further north on the west side of the road. I'll be pointing that out shortly. This road is in north of Munster, is in much better repair than on the southern side. There's almost no potholes here, no road debris. It's very clear. The only thing that there's a very small shoulder, but the road is very smooth. There's no bumps. Very clean. Traffic's still fairly light. You can see we have not passed a whole lot of cars. It's not non-existent, but it's very light. There's an oil derrick. One thing you might see on this road quite a bit, there they are. There's those little air oil derricks that look like a golf course. You can see those little roads over there, but they're little oil derricks. So people drive those little golf cart looking things, 4x4s, over to the oil derricks, I guess, to do maintenance on them. So one thing you might pass on this road are people in trucks with trailers hauling their dirt bikes, because out this way is what they call the Red River Trails, which is a popular dirt bike riding trail area where people take their dirt bikes to ride on trails. And so especially on the weekends, you're gonna see that people taking their dirt bikes, maybe their 4x4s, out here to the Red River Trails, which is right along the Red River, separates Texas from Oklahoma. There's some of those buzzards I talk about, a little bit of roadkill. That was the first one. It was a raccoon. First roadkill I've seen. There's some more cows over there on the west side, lots of them. Gonna be somebody's steak one day. Very smooth. Few elevation changes. Few curves. These curves are pretty sweeping. None of them are sharp. Visibility is pretty good. Nice farmhouses. There was a dead snake on the road. This is a golf course over here on the west side. I've never played golf, never been there, but it's called the Turtle Hill Golf Course. The driving range is right there on the right. So in addition to some of those dirt bike riders, you might have a few people, a little bit of traffic on the weekend headed out to the golf course. Speculation. As you can see, we're getting into a few more curves. Not the hairpin curves that you might expect on a technical course like Tail of the Dragon, but sweeping curves that are with some nice scenery. Very green. If you rode this road at nighttime, while I don't see any signs that say deer or show deer, I would reduce my speed. Oh, there's a little bit of road debris. One of the trees overhanging the road had a few branches that blew off, probably in the heavy winds. So I was saying about the deer, you might want to reduce your speed if you rode this road at night due to, well, critters on the road. I wouldn't expect any livestock like cows or horses, but there is some looking untamed areas, non-pasture areas, which I guess deer might be and could come on the road. So there is a fence on both sides of the road, private property, I suspect. that side over there, it's pretty tall. I don't know how high a deer can jump. That fence over there looks pretty high. Very nice. Very fun ride. Even if you're a beginning level motorcycle and you have very little experience, this road is going to be suitable for you. There's nothing difficult about riding it. Whenever you encounter any kind of road hazards, just reduce your speed. The road quality just improved greatly. This area, and it's beautiful to look at. A couple of bridges. I always love bridges. If I was going to give it a 2 on scenery, the bridges and the little creek settings always make me bump it up 1. So bear that in mind. Bridges, I love bridges. Coming up on a junction. If we did take this junction here that turns south, it would take us to St. Joe. 373 ends just north of St. Joe. Both of the roads that along that junction, obviously, is the Blue Ostrich Winery, 2382. We're not going down that road today. We're going to continue on. He's moving over for me at the best he's able. I will go ahead and pass him. As we're headed out towards Illinois Bend now. There's another one of those oil derricks. That one doesn't look to be in operation. You can see we're getting a little elevation up and down here along with the curves. Really fun to ride in this area. A little bit of rough spot there. Another little bridge. Beautiful creek, beautiful creek. Sometimes I'll stop, and this road is more difficult to stop on than some because of the lack of shoulder. There's the Red River Trails that I spoke about earlier, right there on the right. We just passed them. That's where you can take your dirt bike. But as I was saying, some roads are a little more difficult to stop on safely because of the lack of a shoulder. You can pull off this road, but you'll be pulling into grass. Riding on grass with a 900-pound bike is not the easiest of tasks, and something to be left for a more experienced rider. If you don't feel comfortable with that, many people don't, and I don't blame you. I'm not always comfortable with it. Then it's best not to stop unless you absolutely have to on these roads, because there's no place to. But visibility is good, so you can put your hazards on, and hopefully they're not on their cell phone. Obviously the safest is pulling off the road. County, Montague County. We're coming up to junction 677, and at this junction, that is where 373 ends. If you go south on 677, you're going to go into St. Joe, and if you go north, you're going to end up in Illinois Bend. This is the end of 377 right here. Now, they are. There's those little oil derricks that look like a golf course. You can see those little roads over there, but they're little oil derricks. Some people drive those little golf cart looking things. Very nice. Over to the oil derricks, I guess, to do maintenance.